All right, ladies and gentlemen, one of the things that's come up in class a number of times is just asking about how do you actually integrate quotes into your pieces of writing. And one of the things to remember is that the whole idea of using literary sources is actually to help them support your thesis. And so if we look at our good old tag tick C, is that remember that what we want to do is after we've dealt with a title and an attention getter, what we're dealing with next is our thesis with integrated quotes for support. And the whole idea is that once you know your thesis, what you're trying to prove to your reader, you need to go and find specific quotes from your sources. And ideally, they should come from the beginning, the middle, and the end of your piece of literature. Now, with that in mind, what you want to do is that you want to copy certainly a whole sentence or maybe several sentences that have that big idea that's going to help prove your thesis. But what you inevitably want to do is take the best part of that quote and integrate it into your own words. So with that in mind, what we've got is a handout that I have available for us online about using quotes in your writing. And there are lots of resources that you can actually use, lots of sites, and we have these links available to you in our document. But the idea is that you use these words written by other writers to enhance your own ideas and to add to your work. And the idea is that a quotation should flow within your own sentences. So in terms of when you're citing from a source, you have the ability to do what's called indirect reference. This is where you're not quoting directly from the source, but you're referring to something that happens in the source. So for example, here, where I'm talking about with the advent of the Matrix films, a new camera system is used by which actors and or objects are held stationary and multiple cameras are used to take individual images that are later made into consecutive images. And this is from an article called Bullet Time. And then I have, of course, this replicates the theory of time dilation, where time can appear to slow down the closer one approaches the speed of light, which is from a program called NOVA, for which I would also, again, have to cite the reference. But I'm not using direct words from these sites, but I'm using the ideas, so I still need to cite where the information came from. So that's your indirect reference. The idea is, though, when we want to deal with direct reference, so taking things directly out of a piece of literature, I want to go through and choose the best parts. So in this case, where I'm writing about the love song of J. Alfred Prufrock by T.S. Eliot, I'm going through and I'm dealing with the image of two lovers having a romantic stroll is sharply marred by comparison, spread out clear night sky to a patient etherized upon a table. So the phrasing, patient etherized upon a table, is such perfect wording, such beautiful expression, that I'm going to use those words. I don't use the entire line that precedes that, and I don't use the line that comes after it, but I use just one part of it. Now, if I do want to quote several lines, such as in this case of poetry, you can offset it. And if you're quoting several sentences, you want to offset it from your actual piece of writing with, again, the page number, or in this case, the text line numbers. But when I'm referring to anything else, in this case, where I'm taking a reference from Jeffrey Hunter, in his remarks in Contemporary Literary Criticism, he talks about it's a dramatic monologue of a man who is physically and spiritually bleak. And those words are so beautifully phrased that I really cannot paraphrase them in my own way. So that's what you want to be looking to do. And again, you want to provide a works cited if you're taking from multiple sources. But let's look at what we could actually do with a piece of literature and in the essay. So the events in Here Be Monsters displays how revenge has the potential to wake the trembling, bloodthirsty monster inside an individual. So what we have is we have some great information, we have a good thesis, but then what we've got here is the author of this piece has used a whole long quote. How the drug dealer, Danny Marconi, has no idea the narrator plans to, quote, use a bat to shatter every bone in Danny Marconi's body. Now, we don't need to have all this stuff used. In fact, the best part that I would keep is shatter every bone. So what I'm going to do instead is I've got that within my own sentence, and I'm going to paraphrase the rest. So the drug dealer, Danny Marconi, has no idea that the narrator plans to attack with a baseball bat and shatter every bone in Danny Marconi's body, or in the, I can even rephrase, in the drug dealer's body. And then simply I can go that eliminate drug dealer from the beginning, and now I have Danny Marconi has no idea the unnamed narrator plans to attack him with a baseball bat and shatter every bone in the drug dealer's body. By simply taking that best part of the words, that being the shatter every bone in the drug dealer's body, I now end up with everything integrated into my own sentence. And we see later on that the author here has actually done that quite well. He's used breathing very fast. So when the narrator leads Danny into a sense of false security, in order to kill Danny, he is silent and breathing very fast. So he has pulled things in. But down here, same thing where I've got this quote, I like to keep only the beautiful, erotic, or even his clothes becoming damp with blood. Taking only certain parts is the best way to do the integrating of quotes, using your own words, and when your own words cannot possibly rephrase it into something better, then using those specific words instead. But always make sure that you follow up at the end of the sentence with the actual page number or line number where the word would be found. Okay?